Hey everyone, quick question. Have you ever noticed how some of the developers seem to land the best of the jobs, the coolest side gigs, the side projects, and the companies that seem to be the best to work with? It'll be no surprise considering you clicked on this video, and it's most likely because their side project has built them a portfolio that makes them appeal to all of these projects that they get to take part in. So today I'm breaking down why side projects are some of the best assets you can have as a developer in 2026 and moving forward into the future. If it's your first time on the channel, hi, I'm Nayab. I am a junior software engineer who's been working in corporate for a total of 5 years, of which 2 I've spent as a full-time engineer. And in my uni time, I built 70 side projects, and directly or indirectly, I think they are what got me hired in my second year of uni. So I won't spend long on this, but I should first cover why side projects are actually important, because obviously everyone does them, but why? So the first reason why I think they are super important, especially for hiring managers, is because they display passion. They show that you're working outside of your day job and you like coding as a concept, as a skill, rather than just to do it for the sake of your job or just because it has a good pay grade attached to it. I personally started learning to code because I just wanted to know what was the hype about the data. When it was in COVID times, that's when I first started learning it, and I just did it because I was interested in it. Soon after, when I started doing the side projects, I switched my degree from neuroscience to software engineering, started taking part in it actively, and then got hired in it as well. And being able to talk about these side projects and all these technologies that I've worked on in the background in random occasions is actually what's put me forward in front of hiring managers and given me an appeal in front of the people who are working in the organization already, because they're like, she's curious about these things and she has this knowledge in this project she can bring into our organization and give us value in that. And that's how you appeal to hiring managers. And the second reason is because it helps you keep up with the technology as it's moving. And it is the reason that most people tend to do side projects, is to keep up with the industry as it's moving forward. The industry is fast paced, it moves so quickly, and there's new technologies coming out every single month. There's new package upgrades and all of these things. To be able to keep up with them, you need to be doing side projects so you know hands-on how to implement it, especially with the new AI things. There's a lot of things which you can get AI to do, but do you even understand what you're doing? To gain understanding of the concepts, it's good to have side projects on yourself. Side projects matter more than ever now because, first of all, there's AI and anyone can build anything with it, but not everyone understands what they're building. And so even though people are busy for hours, they're not really getting anything out of that business. And the best part of it is that side projects don't have to take you long. They can take you as much as you want it. It's your personal project. For me personally, the way I completed 70 side projects in uni was because I spent half an hour, 20 minutes at the end of each day, weekday, where I'd work on a project. And by doing that for 3 years constantly is what built up this portfolio of 70. It wasn't that I just sit down on the weekends, 9 hours, bash it. I think that's a bit unrealistic, and it puts a bit of burden on you and leads to burnout because it's just overburdening yourself. It's not realistic to spend every single weekend for 3 years building code and side projects. But instead, if you just do 20 minutes and know it will have the same output at the end of the day, why would you not just put in 20 minutes? It's much easier to show up for 20 minutes than it is to show up for 9 hours on the weekend. So now let's talk about the actual benefits of why side projects matter more than ever now. And it's because they unlock rapid skill acquisition. I didn't realize how quickly I was growing as an engineer in uni and in my first few months of being an engineer, because I was just learning all these technologies and frameworks so quickly. So personally for me, my uni course was in a different language every semester, and at work we code in C# for the most part. However, at uni I did not code in C# at all. I actually was an expert in Java, and Java was all that I'd ever learned, but I'd learned it in so much depth because I'd done all sorts of side projects you can imagine, that just building anything in Java is the easiest thing ever. And so by following tutorials and creating side projects in C# for the first 2-3 months of my job, I was able to learn by doing rather than passively trying to convert Java knowledge into C#. And it helped me implement the concepts in C# that I'd be using in my job. This led me to mastering new tech stacks, and for you as well. If you're learning by doing, it will help you master new tech stacks quicker, and you'll be able to learn more about new technologies and rapidly growing technologies. We're at a time where organizations are progressing so quickly, and they're all trying to adapt really quickly to AI, to new technologies, to new frameworks that come out. They want to be the fastest growing organization. They want to be the one that's most flexible in the face of changes, especially when the technological scene is so diverse. And so they're expecting this flexibility from you as well. They want you to adapt rapidly. If you have a director of technology who's going to be switching up the frameworks every single time a new consultant joins, you need to be flexible because that's what's going to give you job security. What it's also teaching you, not only to master the frameworks that you're in, is going to give you flexibility and to teach you how to problem solve really, really quickly. And if you're already building side projects and you know what you're working on and how things are working under the hood and within the languages that you're learning, you're going to problem solve really quickly. You're going to have built up this background knowledge of all of these tech stacks, and you can transfer the knowledge as well. The second reason why side projects matter more than ever, it builds your personal brand. And we've always heard it online everywhere. It's a term that gets thrown around like, you build your personal brand, have these things for your personal brand, XOXO, and you can have it on TikTok, you can build a personal brand, and you can build a personal brand on YouTube. But not everyone wants to be a creator or teach people online, as I do. But having a personal brand, you will need it everywhere, especially in your career. If you're someone who's actually serious about having a job and progressing in your career and becoming a high-level engineer one day, you need to have a personal brand. People need to be associating projects with you and qualities with you that you would want to be recognized by. And by building side projects, especially if you're doing like software as a service and infrastructure which you're letting other people use as well, that is all contributing to your personal brand. You're going to learn how to talk to people. People are going to ask you about these things, and the more valuable your project is, the more valuable substance your personal brand will have. That's how you grow as a person. If people recognize you, and actually on this point, recently I saw a LinkedIn post that there's a guy who built his SaaS project and he was offered 10 jobs just out of cold email, and he didn't reply to any of them because he knew he was building his personal brand. He'd get higher offers which aligned to him more. And this is the power of having side projects. If you're promoting them correctly, what you're going to get is actually a really solid personal brand which people associate with you and they want to work with you, instead of it being the opposite way around. I know everyone's saying that the job market is difficult, and indeed it is. Yes, it's very difficult to get jobs, to get through the interview phases, but if you have a personal brand which people trust, they know, and they want to be associated with the skills that you're showing out on the internet or in an engineering space, they will come to you. You will attract opportunities, which brings me on to point number 3. Side projects are your entrepreneurial launchpad. So currently, my side project is YouTube and making content for you guys and educating you. And that's only because I think for my technical skills, I'm very satisfied with it. But as an entrepreneur, especially for like a SaaS entrepreneur, side projects, there's nothing better than them. You can come up with the minimum viable product for your SaaS project in a weekend. Like the concepts, you can put it out there and you can learn with it. And with small side projects, and as you're advertising every single one, going through that product cycle again, making improvements based on the customer feedback, this is what will get you moving forward. It helps you grow from idea to execution. If you're building side projects, yes, similarly for me, I came up with the idea that I'm going to do a health tracker for women that's going to show outliers for PCOS and things like that. I use that in my final year project. But to go from idea to execution, you want to close that gap as much as possible, and side projects are the best way to do it. Like, I'm so passionate about side projects because it's such a playground where you can just learn so much, and not just about technologies, you can learn so much about yourself. Like, are you procrastinating from going from idea to execution? You might be the best developer out there, but this phase is what's keeping you held, and so you need to actually close that instead of your technical skills. But someone else might learn that their technical skills are what's holding them back, and they have the best soft skills out there, and they're the most productive person out there. It helps you expose parts of yourself. And as an entrepreneur, not that everyone is an entrepreneur, but everyone has that personal development side to them which can be improved. And so by going through the cycle of failure and learning and debugging, fixing problems, and responding to customer feedback or the people who are using it, you're going to grow not just as a person, but technically, socially, and network as well, and grow with people and learn how the real world works. You never code in isolation. Code doesn't happen in a box. You code for other people to use the code you're making. And so side projects are the best way to learn it, and the best way to refine your requirements as well. And for my last and final point, side projects are future-proofing your career. A career doesn't just happen in a corporate organization, and it doesn't just happen in a business. People can switch around, people can pivot, and side projects are the best way to experience this. You future-proof yourself by knowing that you're flexible, by knowing that you can learn from your mistakes, and that you can build something and take something to completion. It keeps you ahead of the curve. It keeps you learning faster than everyone else. If you're constantly building side projects, let's say one side project a week that takes you about 30 minutes. But in that side project, you're exploring a new tech stack. You're learning from something that you've broken or built. You're ahead of everyone else. A person who reflects and actually works on themselves is going to keep moving forward, even if it's 1% every single day. And there's nothing better than improving. And so by future-proofing your career, you're protecting yourself firstly from the capitalist world we live in. You're not going to be chasing the money, you're going to be chasing yourself as a project. You're going to be improving yourself through these little side quests and these projects. One day you might realize that the side projects that you've built, they might monetize and you don't have to rely on your 9 to 5. And on the other hand, you might have learned from the failures of all the projects that you've built and realize that the stability of a 9 to 5 is actually what you're after. Side projects give you the freedom to pivot and grow as well, and they're a challenge to yourself actually. Can you take something to completion? And if you can, you will actually be growing skills of a leader and all of these soft skills which will help you progress through the world, not just in your career. I think that's a grand thing to say, but everything compounds. and you will learn sooner or later that all of these things are actually a test to yourself. Can you take something to the finish line? Can you improve something? Can you take criticism well when people are criticizing the project that you spent 40 hours working on? That's what will help you grow in the long term, and we can always look at it from like a philosophical perspective, but I'm not here for that. I'll just be focusing on my projects and doing them for fun, but they have helped me grow as a person as well. And so for those of you who've stayed, the bottom line is that side projects are your differentiator. They're not just a little fun hobby, but you can actually use them to develop yourself as a person, as an engineer, and as a little cog in the corporate machines. And you can always keep growing with them and learning from them as well. Having consistent effort and experimenting, it will all compound eventually, and you will learn to grow from it. So as a takeaway from this video, pick an idea and just start building it, because in 2026, the developers who are actually going to make it into jobs or make it into the future of engineering aren't going to be the ones who are sitting there doing their job applications on Indeed for 24 hours a day, but they're actually the ones who are going to be building themselves up as people by doing all these side projects and having something they took to completion. So comment down below what project you're working on, what you'll be focusing on in 2026. Let's all focus together and keep growing. I'll see you guys in the next video.